Hello class, good morning. How are you doing? We want to look at literature in English. Our topic today is African poetry. The subtopic is New Tongue. It's a poem written by an African writer, an African poet, Elizabeth Kamara. She's from Sierra Leone. And the poem goes like this. Stanza 1 says, they speak in a new tongue and dance new dances. Minds battered into new modes and shapes, their eyes reveal in the wonder of the new. Embraced and bound to hearts with impregnable chains, the old songs as disregarded dreams. Remnants of a past, tie of family and friendship, loosened, broken, burnt. The ashes strewn into the bottomless sea as fishes swim by, careless of the loss, mindful of where they're. A new generation, that is stanza 2 now, careless of bonds, of family, of tradition, of heritage. They care not. Nor revere the old, their minds turn inwards, only inwards. Like the inside of cloths that marry the body of mankind. Stanza 3 now says, no room for elders, no, not even on the edge of their minds. Their ears block to the old tongue and ways of doing things. Look at stanza 4. He said, glorying in their newness of a borrowed tongue and culture, every man for himself, by himself. Every man for himself, by himself. A strange corner descending like snow-covered mountain, or like bathing at the back of the house on a rainy July day. The gusts of wind, falling trees, scattering roofs away, tugging skirts, and swinging debris in the air. Now we are going to stanza 5. Okay, the stanza 5 goes this way. They borrowed shoes dance, their borrowed minds parted the Red Sea long ago. They hang the last lock on their culture and glide into the future without a backward glance. Without a backward glance. Now, if you look at the first stanza of the poem, the poet started with they borrowed new tongue. Who are these they that the poet is talking about? If you look at it, it's the new generation. You know, this generation now, they call themselves Gen Zs and Gen Alphas. That is whom this poet is talking about. The new Africans. Those that call themselves civilized Africans. They don't want to associate with the old life. They call it old pattern, you know, old things. They don't want to associate themselves. So what they want is the new life. That is why the poet wrote this poem, Borrowed Tongue. The borrowed tongue then means the borrowed language that we are speaking, the borrowed culture that we are following, displaying all another man's way of life, living our own. Because if you look at that stanza 1, it said, discard, that they disregarded our own culture, we discarded our culture, you know, following foreign culture. Now, I want us to look at the meaning of this poem. What is the poet talking about in this poem? Now, look at it. It's a new tongue addressed the neglect and abandonment of African cultural values. You know, we Africans, we love culture. We love culture. But you will see that this new generation, they have left our culture to follow the other way. Now, he said, Africans abandoned our culture by contemporary African people. They abandon the culture all in the bid to be identified as the civilized people, you know. But they do not realize that they are bound. According to stanza 1, he said they are bound with impregnable chain. Chain that cannot be loosened because they have gone far. They don't want to go back. They don't want to look back. He said the things Africans are known for is their family ties. Africans, we love our family. If you look at it in our culture, children take care of their parents. But these days, I'm even surprised that in Nigeria here, they've started building old people's homes. That is not our culture. Our culture is as a child. If you finish and you're working, you have the money, you take care of your parents. Look after them. Once they call you, or at times, we in Africa, once our parents are not feeling fine, we go and pick them up, take them to hospital, take proper care of them. But these days, we have started, the Oyibo type of culture by building old people's homes. These days, now you see them carrying parents to old people's home, and it is not in our blood. The poet is lamenting. He said one of the things Africans are known for is their family ties, but the new crop of Africans in the new generation allow these ties to be loosened, to be broken, even to, be burnt. He said the poet speaker in her lamentation reveals that their roots are long burnt, the roots of our culture. They have forgotten about it. Say are long burnt to ashes, and the ashes are being strewn into the bottomless sea. The poet therefore warns that if this trend is not properly addressed, if it is not properly taken care of, that Africa may go into extinction. Our culture may go into extinction, that we will not even remember our culture any longer. Are we there? Okay, let's look at stanza by stanza summary. Looking at it, stanza 1, in the opening stanza, the poet began with, he said, how the new Africans utterly, disregarded our culture. These days, even our language, do you know that at times I will see some girls, I will ask them, they are not interested in their language. They don't want to speak it. Some will go as far as telling you, I'm not interested in that language. That's the way they will put it. I'm not interested in that language. But this is our language, is our mother tongue. What are we interested in is the Oyibo language, because we want to be feel civilized. We want to, be noticed that yes, we are not in that old culture. Okay, he said, the novelty of a foreign culture and language with the waving commitment, while it disregard and discard and forget the tradition of the older generation. Because we want to feel among, we want to be recognized as civilized people, we don't care about our culture. This stanza 2 now focuses on the loss of family ties. If you look at it, Africans, we love our families. We are people that, we love saying, this is my uncle, this is my aunt, my cousin. But these days, there's nothing like that. If I ask some of you now, I will notice that some of you only know maybe your mommy's sibling. You don't even know your mommy's cousin. You don't know your daddy's cousin, the uncles, you don't know them. Some of us, the only people we know is those ones that used to visit us in our houses. We don't know the rest. That is why this woman, the poet speaker, is lamenting that we are leaving our culture. We love family ties. Stanza 3 says, the poet's persona registered clearly that the new generation lack regard and respect for the elders. I could remember in those days when we were growing, when we were coming up, those of us from the western part of Nigeria, we used to prostrate, to greet. But these days, it's not like that. It is not like that. You just, in the school here, for example, students will see a teacher and pass. At times, I will turn and say, lady, what are you supposed to do? Before they say, good morning, ma. I say, that is not our culture. Africans, we are known for greeting. We are known for respecting of elders. But these days, it's no longer like that. I was asking someone one day, the girl now said, ma, if I portray, my clothes will get dirty now. That is not our culture. And that is why the poet is lamenting that we are leaving our culture to embrace foreign culture. Stanza 4 now is talking about the new generation going about flaunting the acquired foreign language and culture as a benchmark of, civilization. Yes, they feel that, yes, I have arrived. I can speak the Oyiboman language. I can dress like them. I can do whatever thing they do. So they are on top. That is not our culture. Are we there? Okay. Stanza 5 also now said, the poet concluded, if this thing is not arrested now, if it's not, promptly, handled, that our culture will go into extinction. And it's not supposed to be so. Okay? Now, I want us to go into looking at the structure, the mood, and the language. Okay. Now, looking at the poetic style, the style the poet used in writing her poem, we want to look at number 1, the structure. Looking at the structure, you will see that the poem has 5 stanzas, and all of them is written in free verse. You know what I mean by free verse? There's no end rhyme. So, stanza 1 has 13 lines. Stanza 2 has 11 lines. If you look at it, count it as you open to it. Then stanza 3 has 5 lines, 4 has 12 lines, and stanza 5 has 5 lines. All the lines are not equal. If you look at it, you will see it. They are not equal. So it's a free poem. It's a free verse. It has no end rhyme pattern. Okay. Number 2 is the mood of the poem. The mood is a mixture of nostalgia and lamentation. If you look at the poem very well, you see that the poet is lamenting, trying to tell us that please, that we should not allow our culture, the African culture, to go into extinction. Because the way the Gen Zs are going and the Gen Alphas, they don't want to know. If you look at the poem, the poet is even lamenting that they have burnt the culture, the roots has been burnt and thrown into the sea, the bottomless sea, if you look at it. So she's lamenting that please, we should not allow our culture to go into extinction. Then the tone is critical and observant. It's also accusatory, trying to tell us that please, I don't like what is going on. Now let's look at the themes of the poem. Number 1 theme there is the abandonment of traditional ways and values. You see, the Gen Zs, they have abandoned our traditional ways. They've abandoned our values. They've abandoned the ways we do things, to incline to foreign ways of life. Then number 2 is invaluable wisdom of the elders. They don't care about the instructions of the elders. They don't care. They don't want to know. They don't take the instruction of the elders as anything. So that's number 2 theme. Number 3 is self-centeredness. If you look at the poem, you will see where the poet said by themselves, what they know is just themselves. By myself, anything that concerns them, that is what they know about. Then another one is the adoption of the new way of life. They have adopted the new way. The poet said they dance in their new dance, meaning that they don't want to look back. They have adopted the new way of life. The loss of cultural heritage. And number 6 said language, loss, and extinction. So all those are the themes in the poem. Please read it and read it to understand it very, very well. Now, looking at the figurative language that the poet used, number 1 is repetition. If you look at the poem, you will see some words are being repeated. Some words are being repeated. Number 2 is synecdoche. Synecdoche is when you use a part to represent a whole, or using a whole to represent a part. We call it synecdoche in literature. And looking at it, there's in line 4, it says their eyes reveal in the wonder of the new. What is the eye there? The eye is representing the body, the whole of new Africans, the contemporary Africans. That is what the eye there is representing. Now, simile, we have in line 21 and 24. Remember, simile is the use of like or than, to compare two similar things. We call it simile. So they use the like there. Say their minds turn inward like, We have it also in line 35 and 36. Then we have hyperbole. Hyperbole is excessive exaggeration. When you exaggerate, something that is small, you exaggerate it to be big. We call it hyperbole in literature. And if you look at line 5, you will see it there. Alliteration is the next one. Alliteration is when two consonant sounds follow each other. Initial consonant sounds follow each other in a line of poem. We call it alliteration. And that is, you will see it in line 2 and line 3. Alliteration is there. Say dance, new dance. That's the D there. And mind modes. That's the m sound and the sound there. Then we have allusion. Allusion is in line 43. Allusion is when you pick someone's, write-up. And the allusion there is they picked a write-up from the Bible that said, parted Red Sea long ago. Red Sea talks about when Moses took the children of Israel out of Egypt, and they followed through the Red Sea, and the Red Sea parted for them to pass through. So that is allusion, speaking from the Bible. Then we have symbolism. Using something to represent something. We call it symbolism. We have the ashes there representing, the culture that they have disregarded, and the bottomless sea, that the thing has gone far. They have thrown it, it has gone far. That it is difficult for them to retrieve. That is symbolism, using it to represent it. Then we have personification. Personification is giving human quality to non-living thing. We know that. So here now, personification is seen in line 25, where they are using the inside of cloth, saying that it's marry the body of the mankind, making it as if cloth can marry human beings. So it's personified there. The next one is pun. Remember, pun is play in words. If you look at line 30, that says newness. So please, I think you have gained something from the lesson, and if you have a question, do well, check the comment section and drop your question there. I'm going to give you assignments to keep you busy. Please, as you're at home, stay safe. Okay, for the assignment, I'm going to write it on the board for you now. So you are going to write it, and please make sure you answer the questions and don't just read it and leave it like that. Okay? Now the question goes like this. It says closely examine camera's attitude to loss of cultural heritage. In the poem. The The assignment says, closely examine Kamara's attitude to loss of cultural heritage in the poem. Please, I want you to keep yourself busy as you are at home, read your books, do the assignments. Please, ask your questions in the comment section and I will get to it and answer your questions. Stay safe. God bless you until we meet again. Thank you so much for listening.